You gotta love the Bronx.
Exactly.
I want to thank Joy Williams and Congressmember Adriana Espaillat, and of course the great County Executive George Latimer. Thank you to these selfless public servants for nominating me and for your trust. Fellow Democrats, fellow New Yorkers, 4 years ago, this convention gave me the honor of a lifetime. You nominated me to run for Attorney General of this great state on behalf of the people of our state. I will remember that moment forever. How humbled I was by the responsibility you charged me with and by the history that was made that day. I remember that moment in the context of the groundbreaking leaders who came before me: Shirley Chisholm, Geraldine Ferrara, and Hillary Rodham Clinton. They were leaders of ability and talent and grit, yet they were told no woman need apply. So in honor of the sacrifices and accomplishments of these and other groundbreaking women, I say with pride, conviction, and clarity of purpose, I accept the nomination of the Democratic Party as your candidate for Attorney General of the great state of New York. Thank you. The two of them will rock us.
That's all we'll need.
I take it as an affirmation that you believe in the job that I have done as your Attorney General over the last 3 and 2 months. 3 years and 2 months. You believe that the rule of law should be applied to everyone equally. And you believe that no one, regardless of how powerful you are, that no one is above the law. I thank you for this honor and for your continued belief in me. And I thank you, Democrats, and I thank you, New York. Your vote of trust today is a declaration that those of us who are privileged to hold positions of public trust can make the tough decisions. We will always put principles over politics, and that New York Democrats will have your back. When I accepted your nomination 4 years ago, it would not have been possible to imagine the difficulties that were ahead. None of us could have predicted how the last 4 years would test the soul of this nation, test who we are as a people, test what we stand for, what a real, true Democrat acts like in their public life, and more importantly, how they conduct themselves in private life. And during these years, New Yorkers faced a pandemic of catastrophic consequences. 67,000 of our family members died, including far too many senior citizens. Healthcare providers and essential workers showed what true heroes look like. And I want to thank all of those essential workers, all of the nurses, and all of those individuals on the front lines. They did it while confronting the inequalities in our healthcare system, an existing crisis that must be a call to arms that we need to address now. It was also a time of racial unrest that torched the conscience of every caring person in our country. It was a time when the world's response echoed a reality that has historically been ignored, where healing and reconciliation and reforms were forefront in our minds. This was also a period of time when our communities were ravaged by opioid addiction and death. We saw fatal overdoses in 2020, more fatal overdoses in 2020 than ever before. And during this time, we have seen the very core of our democracy come under attack. We witnessed the nation's capital, the citadel of our democracy, set ablaze on January 6th. The very fabric of our nation has been frayed and fractured and torn apart. And during this moment, we also have seen a concerted effort to revoke, to rescind, and to refuse a woman's constitutional right to control her own body. This has been a disturbing period for our country. This has been a divisive period for our country, but a defining moment for it too, and for New Yorkers in particular. But when the going gets tough, my friends, New York Democrats get up. We rally, we organize, and we fight back with everything that we have. And after the national nightmare of the former president, Democrats realized what was at stake. And we elected Joe Biden as our president. And Kamala Harris as the first woman of color vice president of the United States of America. And Democrats in New York City elected Eric Adams as our mayor. And Kathy Hochul became the first woman in the history of the state to serve as governor. And in 2 weeks, the president that you and I elected, Joe Biden, will nominate a black woman to serve as a Supreme Court justice for the first time in our nation's history. I know that Shirley Chisholm is smiling. When I was elected Attorney General, I vowed to act without fear or favor, to hold the powerful accountable, whether Republican or Democrat, in the public or private sector, to be unbought, to be unbossed, and unrelenting in the pursuit of justice, and to stand up and speak for the interest of everyday New Yorkers. And that is what I have done. When COVID struck and our seniors were dying in nursing homes, I stood up and fought for them. My office investigated and found that the state's Department of Health undercounted COVID-19 deaths. Nursing homes failed to comply with infection control protocols. And worst of all, they lied about it. When opioids tore through our communities, ruining families and taking lives of New Yorkers, I fought for them. We sued Big Pharma and taking on the companies behind the destruction. And recently I was able to announce that we're delivering as much as $1.7 billion, that's with a B, billion dollars. And that money is going to communities all throughout New York, all 62 counties. And although money cannot account for the loss of these lives, thanks to our work with the New York State Legislature, these funds will be used to save lives today and tomorrow. And as New Yorkers have been plagued by the scourge of gun violence, we have stepped up to act where others have not. Last year alone, my office took close to 3,000 guns off the streets in communities across the state through our gun buyback programs. And when the former president sought to expand access to dangerous ghost guns, my office led the charge with other Democratic AGs to crack down on the spread of this untraceable and unregulated weapon of death. And in November, we were at the United States Supreme Court defending our state's rights to establish laws that protect our communities from gun violence. This is about protecting New Yorkers' lives, my friends. And I will vigorously defend any challenge to our gun laws that put our children and our communities in harm's way. And when the former president and his enablers spread the big lie that the 2020 election was stolen, we led multi-state coalitions of attorneys general to fight voter suppression in conservative states all across this country and all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And we've taken our voter suppression here at home as well. We've taken action against voter suppression here in our beloved New York. You see, we had to sue some election boards for making it harder for people to vote. And we forced conspiracy theorists to stop making robocalls designed to keep voters at home. As a nationwide effort is underway to take away the rights of Americans to choose, I've stood up and fought for them. And we have to be ready if the Supreme Court moves to overturn Roe versus Wade. New York State needs to be a refuge of reproductive freedom when others seek to roll those rights back. As other states seek to restrict people within their borders from controlling their own bodies, New York must be a safe harbor. And when women in New York State accuse the most powerful man in the state of harassing them, the evidence was clear and overwhelming. And these women shared their truth. They shared their vulnerability. And these were serious allegations that needed to be investigated vigorously and independently. And that is exactly what was done. I understand the importance of this investigation and the need to ensure impartiality. And that's why I chose a team of experienced lawyers from outside the Attorney General's office to conduct a thorough and fair investigation. The investigation revealed a dangerous pattern of bullying and harassment by the former governor. It has become clear that the former governor will never accept any version of these events other than his own. And to achieve that, he is now claiming the mantle of victim and disgracefully attacking anyone in his path, pushing others down in order to prop himself up. But I will not bow. I will not break. And I will not be bullied by him or Donald Trump.
That's right. That's right.
The State Assembly was prepared to impeach the governor, and had he not resigned. The Judiciary Committee and 5 district attorneys all read the report and the accounts of the brave women who stepped forward and found them credible. I am proud to stand by the findings of the report, because truth crushed to the ground will always rise again. Because truth, my friends, is a blindfolded woman, and she will prevail. I am proud to stand with the courageous women who spoke up. They put their reputations and lives on the line in the name of accountability. You see, there's a common thread that runs through every decision that I have made as the Attorney General: to speak for the powerless and stand up to the powerful, to use the law as a sword and as a shield, and to bend our nation towards fairness. As Brian Stevenson once said, somebody has to stand when other people are sitting. Someone has to speak when other people are quiet. And someone has to have steel in their backbone. And that is the focus that I've brought to the Office of Attorney General. I am very proud. I'm very proud of the work that my office has done. We have traveled a long road over the last 4 years. New Yorkers have been tested to the limit, and New Yorkers have met the test every time. New Yorkers have lived through a time that has revealed character, and New Yorkers have shown their character. Together we have risen to meet this moment with conviction and clarity of purpose. And now it is time for New Yorkers to choose once again. And that is why I am hopeful today, because there's a new spirit moving in New York State government, a new opportunity to work together, a new opportunity to say that in New York State, all of us need to be heard. All of us need to be included. All of us need to be protected. All of us need clean air, clean water, and a safe place to raise our children. My name is Leticia James, and they call me Tish. And I am the Attorney General of the great state of New York, the people's lawyer. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to carry your flag and to be your candidate to continue this work. But our work will never be done until we can look across the magnificent landscape of our state, up and down the Hudson, from the North Country to the Capital Region, from the Hudson Valley to the 5 boroughs and across Long Island, along the southern tier to western New York, through the Finger Lakes, central New York, and the Mohawk Valley, and see that New Yorkers are unified in all of our marvelous diversity of region, of race, of religion, of sexual orientation, that we are united in our commitment to the pursuit of justice, that we are united in our commitment to the majesty of the law, that we are united in our commitment to one another, overcoming division by refusing to be divided, because that's who we are as Democrats. One New York, onward and upward together. Thank you. God bless you. God bless New York, and God bless America. Thank you.